What's up, guys? Nick Major here, APTV correspondent. I just spoke with Austin from As Lions about the band's debut full-length album, Starfish Age, and a lot more, so stay tuned to see what he had to say.
Tell me how long do we wait till the end of everything?
What's it like creating a new project after you already kind of know how the music world works and you have an idea of how to make a band work?
I think that, like, you know, it's stressful in different places once you've kind of, for lack of a better word, established yourself as doing one thing, because As Lions is totally different to Rise to Remain. So, you know, doing this, it was a little bit hard at first, presenting something that didn't have constant shredding, constant screaming.
I was going to mention that this is definitely more kind of big sounding rock oriented, it seems like. And how did you guys decide the direction? Was it nice to do something a bit different? And how did you guys decide the direction you wanted As Lions to go versus previous work of yours?
You know, really, it was almost a period of just kind of letting go of certain conventions and writing holes that you find yourself in, you know, because I think that, you know, for me, it was very easy to sort of scream and, you know, hide lyrics or hide whatever, you know, not that I was ever consciously doing it, but you could get away with a little bit more. And I think for me, it was kind of letting go of those easy bits and really working on exactly what I heard in my head. Same thing for Connor, same thing for Will. And, you know, I think that this music is so much more true to what we want to make and so much truer to kind of who we are as, you know, as just musicians.
And I'm sure that it kind of took being in a previous project and kind of doing something a bit safer and easier, if you'd say. Yeah. That kind of gave you guys a chance to really not only grow as musicians, but realize what works for you and what you'd like to challenge yourselves with.
And you know, and I don't want to do down anything that we've ever done in the past, because I absolutely love being in Rise. You know, it was so much fun. But I think that this is just, it's, you know, first and foremost, music to me is another form of storytelling. And I think that, you know, to be able to tell a story with unique dynamics is a big deal. To, you know, have a whole new sonic soundscape to play with is a big deal. And it just sort of increases our tools and widens the whole prospect of it. So that's really exciting to us.
Why did you decide, you know what, I got to keep music going? Why didn't you decide, I want to try something else in life? What is it about music for you?
I don't really know, man. You know what? The first time I realized I ever wanted to make music was when I got a pair of drumsticks and I was hitting a trash can around the back of an office.
Like, everyone pissed off. Who's that kid back there?
Yeah, like throwing garbage down at me. You know, but it was one of those things where it's like, you know, as unromantic and weird as that sounds, some people like, the first time I heard the Bowie record, Aladdin Sane, I knew that I had to.
Yours was when I was banging on some trash bins.
Yeah, when I was literally hitting a trash can, I was like, cool, all right, this sounds pretty good. You know, I don't know what it is. I think that it's for me, it's just all the elements of performance, of catharsis. It's a way of sort of outwardly understanding why we are who we are, I suppose. You know, I think for everyone and for me as well, that's why I write.
So did you start off drumming or anything?
I did, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, of course, of course.
Boom, boom. I think I'm gonna go sing.
At what point did you transition to singing?
You know what? It was the last thing I did. It honestly was, because there was always a part of me that was like, oh, that's too cliche. You can't do that. Like, you know, go and play guitar or play drums or do something else. And I think that, you know, doing singing was just, it was something that sort of happened as a gradual process. At first, you know, actually singing and, you know, creating a hook, that happened way later. At first, I was just like, give me that mic. I don't know what I'm doing. I was just screaming constantly. Like, I think my first show was probably like, you know, a mashup of rehashed Kill Switch Engage and Trivium lyrics that I was just screaming into a cupped SM58. So the feedback was unintelligible. No one could hear it, but I had a whale of a time, you know. So, you know, singing really happened eventually, but, you know, it's the one that I love the most. It's why I've kind of kept doing it.
And you've definitely gotten to see yourself progress from the kind of random, non-meaning screaming.
Yes, nonsensical. Yes, from nonsensical to sensical. Yes, absolutely.
And so the new album, Starfish Age.
Yeah.
What is the name behind this?
I can't think of a time when those in power would use us more for their own devices than ever. So on either side of the divide, you kind of see a lot of selfishness just the world over.
Do you mean politically, for example?
Yeah.
I think for you guys, Brexit is a perfect example, which it's obviously when that happened, that was such a shock to so many people.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Was that a big disappointment for you?
I was, you know, very, very miserable, to be honest. We were in Las Vegas doing the album. And so I kind of saw it all unfold in real time. And that just, was heartbreaking to me. You know, and also at the same time, I would never judge anyone for whichever way they voted. We were given a choice, and some people said yes, some people said no.
So unexpected, the result, though.
But yes, no, I thought it was unexpected, and I think that, you know, really the most upsetting part is the retrospective on how it was handled after the vote had been cast. The Leave Party acted out of cowardice and just crumbled, and they all left the sinking ship. Even the Prime Minister, who was Remain, obviously. And now we've got a cabinet of ironically unelected individuals, which is what the Leave Party was rebelling against in the first place. And
now they have it.
and now they have a bunch of unelected people saying we cannot give 350 million to the NHS, even though we promised to, which is ridiculous.
So this was happening as you were in Vegas creating the album.
Yeah.
Did this affect your writing process at all? Did you put any of your thoughts into that, or will you next time?
You know, like I didn't really change any of the lyrics because, I mean, to be honest, although I called the album Starfish Age, and you know the songs are reactive, I didn't want to drench any of them in politics necessarily, because I think once you do that, you kind of take away people's interpretation a little bit, and it sort of directs them to one area and one area only, whereas I kind of want to do a little bit of open-endedness. But yeah, sorry, anyway, it didn't really affect my writing process that much. It probably affected my performance. I probably sang a little harder and meant it more. But you know, by that point we were already given it the green light.
It was already kind of locked in.
Yeah, we were like, cool, this is what we're doing.
And talking about interpretation, out of the songs on the album, one in particular lyrically that I found myself relating to was White Flags.
Cool.
And the reasoning, I guess my interpretation of it was, I am always telling people to go after what they want in life. What inspired that song? Is that more or less what it's about? Because it's a very motivational lyrically song.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Some people have been like, wow, this song's really defeatist. And I'm like, really? Like, you know, because like you might be listening to White Flags by Dido, but like, but I was like,
Spotify screwed me over.
Yeah, God, yeah. But anyway, you know, what inspired me was there was a picture of Everest, and they had all of these flags sort of going up on different plateaus, and it was all people that never made it to the peak, and that sort of inspired the lyric, the white flags over the mountains. Lost out on good advice, don't give up on what you know is worth the price. That was kind of, if you give up, you won't necessarily reach the peak. You won't be able to sort of stake your claim and say, I did what I wanted to do and I did what I dreamed of. And so that was really the sort of mission statement of that song. That was actually one of the first ones we ever did. And so in the runoff from Rise to Remain to As Lions, that was kind of like, oh, here we go. Okay, great. This is a song about doing exactly what we want, because that song was how we felt at the time.
I was going to say, was that kind of your own personal experiences of kind of creating a new project, moving forward with continuing on doing what you guys love to do?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, good luck at the show tonight, man. You're going to love this venue. It is sick. Thank you so much for chatting.
Thank you, mate.
White flags